Hi everyone, today we're gonna study together the book of Psalms. Once time ago, Jesus Christ of Nazareth said this: Be perfect, therefore, as your Father in heaven is perfect. Today we're gonna review the book of Psalms, chapter number 1. There are some people that sometimes like babbling, others like working, others like music, others dancing, and others like to be the DJ, always being like in a general aspect of everything. In that way, they could control like the general space. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that whatever you do, always try to do it with this kind of mindset that we're gonna read right now on Psalms chapter 1. I'm going to give you an advance. It says, the work of the righteous is like the wheat, but the unrighteous is like the chaff. What is chaff? Well, sadly, for me, I haven't looked for it on the dictionary, but chaff is something that is easily taken. Not exactly like the grass, but easily like taken, for example, from a place. I don't know if you have seen, for example, doves. When they are over one place, if you make certain noise or even a little wind passes and blows over them, they go away. Because doves, even though they are kind of strong, I'm going to be honest to you, doves, even though they are small, doves are strong. You don't see it, but in a certain way, doves have like a little secret that make them strong. But what I'm trying to say is that a wind that comes that is kind of strong, and they have to go because they could not sustain themselves for a long time in those kind of situations. That happens with the chapel. Okay, now we're gonna read chapter number 1 of Psalms. Sorry, and I'm not going to pray. I'm just going to go straight to the Holy Scriptures. Okay, I have here the book of Psalms opened, and it is in the translation of New International Version. I use New International Version, and sometimes I also use the New Living International Version, something like that. New Living Translation, I think that is the name. Anyway, blessed is the one who does not walk in the step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers. But whose that is a word that I don't usually say, but whose delight is in the law of the Almighty, and who meditates on his law day and night. That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yield its fruit in its season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prosper. Not so with the wicked. They are like chaff. You see, chaff or chaff is the same thing. That the wind blows away. Look away. Look at that. Sorry, that example is exactly the example that I was putting. Therefore, the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Almighty Jesus Christ of Nazareth watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked leads to destruction. I was some days ago thinking about how easily, sadly, the wicked are apt to destruct. Jesus was about to go from here, and before going, he said, "I am the light of the world." And they started to discuss with him, saying, with what authority you're saying so? And he said, "I bear witness of my own self." And he also said, "You are up to this world, and I am not up to this world." When he said that, he was establishing that he doesn't give options to the world to him to be taken, for example, from the wind. I don't know if you get it. You have to be transparent, integral, honest, loyal. There is a definition of the wisdom of God in the book of Titus, and also in the book of I think that in Colossians, and also even there is another definition in the book of Job. There is another one in the book of Proverbs, and even in the book of Psalms. In the Holy Scriptures there are a lot of definitions to the word wisdom. And I'm going to tell you one secret. If you are truly, truly wise, you will respect God above everything. And that will give you an strength like roots well attached to the earth. And you will not be easily taken by the wind. When it says wind, it's a symbolical way. For example, let's say that you are making a job and you want to finish it, but sadly, poof, something comes, and you get offended and you just give up. No, don't give up. Try again, do another thing, learn another thing, practice meditation, I don't know, whatever it is, learn another idiom, but try again, and always try. Well, try again, try until you get it. Because you don't know that maybe those tests that you had were tests that were preparing you to get what you wanted, but in the condition that you need to have for you to have it. Let's say that you want a boat. I remember a friend of mine that he was not kind of a very super good person, but he was not exactly also neither a bad person. He told me, "I like boats." And I said, "Oh, nice, interesting. I like airplanes." And he was happy when he was saying me so. He was watching a boat precisely in the moment that he said so. We were both in a car, on a taxi, going to a new kind of a business that we were making. And he told me, "I like boats." And I said, "Oh, I like airplanes." And even a boat, when it's well fundamented, is not easily taken by the wind. No. If a boat is well structured, it will go and come always easily. But let's say even an airplane. If an airplane has an issue, sadly, it doesn't even is prepared to be. I remember that I was in the airplanes station here in Dominican Republic, or even in Peru. It happened twice. I was waiting for my time, and there was one time that they said, "Oh, something happened. We had to cancel the flying because of this and this and that." I don't remember what exactly were the reasons, but the thing is that it's better to stop something when it's not exactly well fundamented than doing it just like by force. That is not gonna lead you to a good secure place. If you want to stay for a while in a simple space, that is okay. But not every time you are gonna do small things in life. In life, you will do great things and small things. And you have to categorize them because you are supposed to do the best you can. I was reading in a book, just to finish, of Ellen G. White. She said, the ambition of every man should be the maximum ambition that he had. In other words, you should not be a conformist person, but neither be obsessed. If you fail, just try again, maybe in a week, in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, but don't give up so easily. Maybe Jesus Christ of Nazareth is preparing you for not being chaff, instead to be like the wheat. See you in the next time, and thank you for sharing with me. Jesus Christ loves you much more than a refrigerator. Electrical one.